Right now at 6, Joplin city officials discussed the issue of transient transportation into the city during last night's council meeting.
And you're waking up to some cool, but we're going to be looking at some sunny conditions, and on the windier side, a look at your full forecast coming up.
Plus, authorities respond to a shooting in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm meteorologist Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning. We do have some breaking news. But former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84. He was the 46th Vice President. He served with George W. Bush. I know we're going to have more on this later today, especially at noon. But we just want to make sure that we did get that out there as well. This is just coming in for us this morning.
Yes, it is sad. He did serve for a pretty good amount of time, and getting to 84, that's pretty. I would say that's pretty good. It's a pretty good life that he lived, and we're definitely going to miss him.
Yes, like I said, we're going to have more details on his life and legacy later today. But I know you have some weather for us as well up first.
I do, yes. Actually, we're looking at a pretty nice day today, maybe on the windier side as well. Let's take a look at downtown Pittsburgh at this moment here. So like I said, you can actually see the sunrise starting to pop up there. Clear skies, a little bit on the cooler side, but not too bad. But those winds are going to start picking up throughout the day. Also at 7th and Rangeline, clear skies. Not looking too bad. Winds are going, like I said, the winds are going to start picking up a little bit. There's a beautiful sunrise right there. You can see a little bit of patchy clouds, but still, I love the sunrises out here. It is amazing, and even the sunsets. I just really look forward to the sunrise and sunset, especially early this morning. So, well, as you're driving into work, there is a little bit of fog out there, mostly in the Miami area. Patchy bit of fog along I-44. So if you're driving into work from Miami to maybe Joplin or Pittsburgh, or even in Miami, just make sure you're being careful because there is a little bit of fog out there. But for the most part, across the area looks pretty good. Pretty good driving conditions throughout most of our viewing area. All right, let's take a look at our future track here. So we have some southerly winds that are going to be coming up, bringing in some nice warm air, but it is going to be on the windier side, a little bit of patchy clouds. And that trend is going to continue through the day. We're going to see 4 o'clock in the afternoon, still some patchy clouds, but southerly winds are going to be bringing in some nice warm air, but still on, like I said, the windier side. And then Tuesday into the evening and overnight, we are going to see a dry, weak front that's going to come in. That's why it's actually been so windy over the why is it going to be so windy today? But our current temperatures, 55 in Joplin, 55 in Carthage, so pretty much low 50s to mid 50s. Stockton about 47, so still on the cooler side, but not too bad. Planning your day for your school day when you're getting out the door, 53 degrees, clear skies. Going to get windy by lunch and recess, 70 degrees, and then heading home, 71 degrees as well. Increasing clouds throughout the day. So planning your day, like I said, we're going to see sunny skies, but it's going to be windy and then increasing clouds by the end of the day, high of about 71, 72. But I'll have a look at your complete forecast coming up.
Donald, thanks. A 24-year-old man suffers a gunshot wound in Joplin during the earlier morning hours Monday. The call came in about 4:10, reporting a man suffering a gunshot to the abdomen on Bronwell Avenue. Authorities took the 24-year-old man to an area hospital. Joplin police say they have no suspect or suspect information at this time. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for more information as it becomes available. Police in Britain have charged a man with 10 counts of attempted murder after a knife attack on a train. The 32-year-old suspect appeared in a court yesterday accused of carrying out a stabbing spree over the weekend on a train bound for London. Passengers ran in panic to escape. Some thought it was a Halloween prank when the stabbing started, but quickly realized it was all too real. Joplin City Council votes to ban the practice of dumping homeless people within city limits. The new ordinance makes it illegal to intentionally drop off transient individuals within the city. Council members passed the measure on the second and third reading last night after documenting multiple cases of other communities bringing homeless people to Joplin. City officials say the practice drains local shelters and resources. Any alleged violations will be reviewed by the police chief and city prosecutor before deciding how to proceed. The new law takes effect in 20 days. Christmas assistance sign-ups began yesterday at the Wesley House in Pittsburgh with hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. all week. Already 150 households have signed up, with an expected total of 450 by Friday's deadline. Wesley House is also distributed pantry food and handed out 196 coat vouchers worth $50 each, welcoming many first-time assistance seekers.
Things are just really tight for people right now. Everything's really tight, and if you live on a fixed income or a low income, you've got some really difficult decisions to make on what do you want to spend your money on over this next few weeks.
Meanwhile, the Salvation Army is also conducting Christmas signups this week. Both programs serve residents in Crawford County. Drivers in Crawford County should be aware of some upcoming road work. KDOT plans to close 690th Avenue in Walnut in order to replace the bridge. Crews say the closure will take place from the middle of November through early spring. The construction is part of a $42.3 million funding project that will cover this and 34 other bridge projects. Good food can provide and a good meal, but it can also be a form of therapy. Mike Glover introduces us to a barbecue restaurant in Oklahoma that began as a need to feed the body and the mind.
Hi guys, welcome to Oklahoma Smoke Barbecue.
It's a business that was birthed out of crisis.
I was active duty military, I had PTSD and was in a very dark spot.
His therapy, smoking meat.
We started doing it to help people. We'd sell our ribs and then take the money and help teachers, help local vets.
Maybe it was the product, or maybe it was his purpose, but the demand pushed Ian to go all out and open a restaurant, expanding his heart to help people.
So I got a clothesline, put it on the wall, and I start out every morning, put about 5 to 10 meals on it.
The meals are for anyone struggling that simply need to eat. And it didn't take long for customers to notice the line and start purchasing meals to help others as well.
I started doing this about a week ago.
And in that week, the restaurant has given away about 300 meals.
God, he blesses people in the world.
The program, a godsend for Ben Winters and his family.
My grandpa, he just started chemo today again.
And even with the program happening throughout the day, Ian says it's important to recognize when to step outside of that and do more.
And they came in, needed food. They said they hadn't eaten all day. And there's a lot of little kids, and we've put together a massive platter of food, piled it high, and just stuck it on the table.
Ian isn't so much concerned about being taken advantage of. He says that comes with the cost of helping people.
Like I said, charity's charity. You either help people or you don't help people.
Check with your favorite restaurants in the area. Many offer the same program to those community members in need. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Trump administration uses a contingency fund to reverse SNAP benefits after federal judges rule. Plus, Anthony Hopkins releases his memoir at age 87, reflecting on addiction and fame. And cool and sunny conditions, Donald has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the Trump administration said yesterday afternoon that SNAP benefits will be partially funded after two judges ruled on Friday that the food assistance payments must continue despite the government shutdown. We'll look at how some local four-staters are dealing with the changing status of SNAP in a moment. But first, Erica Brown has the latest from Capitol Hill, where the Senate has reconvened but has no vote scheduled to end the budget impasse.
The Trump administration said Monday it will use a contingency fund to partially pay out SNAP benefits this month after rulings from two federal judges.
It cost over $9 billion to fund SNAP for a month, and we only have, I think it's $5.2 billion in the contingency fund. So you have a big shortfall.
The ongoing government shutdown caused a funding lapse, affecting more than 40 million Americans who rely on the food assistance program, including cancer patient Michelle Lockhart.
It's not just myself, it's others in the community, others like me, people that are no longer able to work, and without the SNAP benefits, we're unable to put food on the table.
The deadlock is also causing major disruptions at airports across the country.
What can you do about it? We're just in a spot where we have to wait.
Here on Capitol Hill, the Senate reconvened Monday, but there are few signs of progress to end the stalemate as Democrats continue to hold out for extensions to Affordable Care Act subsidies.
I'm not going to do it by being extorted by the Democrats who have lost their way.
In a 60 Minutes interview with Norah O'Donnell, President Trump made it clear he won't negotiate with Democrats until after the government reopens.
Your plan is to tell the Democrats to vote to end the shutdown.
Correct, very simple.
And that you will put forward a health care plan?
No, we will work on fixing the bad health care that we have. Right now, we have terrible health care at too expensive for the people.
The shutdown is expected to become the longest ever Tuesday night. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Back to the SNAP food assistance. The Trump administration said eligible households will receive 50% of their benefits this month, but the USDA warned there may be some delays dispersing the money. But up first, Obamacare premiums rise for 2026 as open enrollment begins. What you need to check next. Plus cold and sunny conditions. Donald has a look at the Tuesday forecast. Anthony Hopkins is reflecting on the role of a lifetime, his own, as a famous drummer taps into joy of giving back. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Actor Anthony Hopkins is entering a new chapter.
That's me as the kid, and that's me as the big kid. We did okay, kid. That's my memoir.
The Academy Award winner turned author is releasing his memoir at the age of 87. In it, he reflects on his difficult childhood, battles with addiction, and rise to fame. We Did Okay, Kid is available today. Performances are underway for this iconic British bear. Paddington the Musical just opened in London's West End, with 2 performers taking on the role of Paddington Bear. One wears the physical suit on stage while the other sings. The musical is based on the 2014 movie. It's no secret that the Red Hot Chili Peppers' love for California runs deep, but now drummer Chad Smith is bringing some love and support to Michigan. During a performance with the University of Michigan Marching Band, Smith announced the creation of a need-based music scholarship at the school.
It's just an opportunity to give back to what I've been so lucky to have, and you know, for next generations of musicians to be able to pursue what they love.
Smith grew up in Michigan. The scholarship will be named in honor of his parents. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
What a meaningful way to be able to give back to your community. Well, now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
We're waking up to some cool and clear conditions. That will change by mid-afternoon, getting up to about 72 degrees, but it'll also be on the windier side. A look at your full forecast coming up after the break. And good morning. You're waking up to a pretty beautiful morning. As you see, downtown Pittsburgh, sun's rising out there. There's a little bit of clouds, but it's very beautiful out there. A little bit on the cooler side, and winds are going to start picking up, but I'll get to that in a minute. It's looking at 7th and Range Line. Just a few patchy clouds, not too bad. Like I was saying, it's starting to feel like a pretty good day and a pretty good morning. Range line 944, beautiful sunrise. Look at that. Like I said, just some few patchy clouds, but amazing colors out there. Midwest has some of the best sunsets. All right, so as you're driving into work this morning, the fog tracker has a little bit of patchy fog out there by Miami, about 7 miles of visibility. Not too bad, but there's still, just be careful as you're driving. But for the most part, the entire area looks pretty good. Good driving conditions out there as you're getting to work, as the kids are getting on the school bus going to school. It's actually not too bad at this moment. All right, so let's talk about why it's actually going to be a little bit windy today. So today, Tuesday at noon, we're going to have some south winds bringing in the warm air, but like I said, it's going to be on the windier side. You can see those wind bars. They're going pretty quick from the south, but there is going to be some patchy clouds as we progress through the afternoon into the evening. Those winds will continue into the overnight as well, and then by about Wednesday morning we're not really going to have any clouds at all. There is going to be a very weak front that will push through late Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. But by Wednesday morning at 5 a.m., those winds should die down and still out of the south, so it'll still be bringing in some warmer air. But we're going to progress through the day into about Wednesday at 4 p.m. You can see the winds shifted from the south to the north now. We're just getting a little bit of a wind shift. We're still going to be on the warmer side, but not much going on in terms of any precipitation. Mostly just a little bit of cloud cover. Thursday at 5 a.m. Winds are going to be coming out of the east now with a little bit of patchy clouds, but still dry and mostly clear and sunny. And it'll also be pretty nice temperature-wise. So Thursday at 4 p.m., winds are going to go from coming back from the south, still some patchy clouds, but it's going to be an overall pretty nice week. But starting your day today, 8 a.m., mostly sunny, 55 degrees. We're going to warm up to about 68 degrees at 11 a.m. Like I said, sunny through the morning, but windier though. We're going to see winds today out of the south, 5 to 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 30 miles an hour, but we're going to see a high of about 72 degrees, mostly sunny. So at noon, we're going to see 70 degrees, warm up to that 72, maybe 73 by that 2 to 3 o'clock hour, but the winds are still going to be continuing through the rest of the day. And also into the evening, we're going to see 63 degrees at 6 p.m., still mostly clear, but then we're going to have some increasing clouds through the evening, get down to about 60 at 10 p.m. Winds are still going to be coming out of the southwest, about 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusting to about 25, but we're going to get down to about 50 degrees, but still partly cloudy skies for our overnight. All right, taking a look at our 7 to 10 day here. So 72 today, windy though with increasing clouds through the day, but a very beautiful week. Look at that, amazing 70s. We could see 76 degrees on Thursday. That's amazing. Definitely above average for this time of year. However, there is going to be a front that's going to come through on Saturday with bringing in a small chance for some isolated showers. Can't rule it out. And it'll also cool things down. As you can see, Sunday through the rest of the week, we're going to start seeing a little drop in temperature and then back up to those 70s possibly by the middle part of next week. That is a look at your full forecast. Here is Sam with Health Watch.
Thanks, Donald. Even a modest amount of physical activity can delay Alzheimer's disease for years. That's according to a new Mass General Brigham study that showed people who walked 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day saw cognitive decline delayed for 3 years on average. For people who walked 5,000 to 7,000 steps, delayed cognitive decline for 7 years. Researchers recommend increasing your daily activity because every step counts. Performing CPR immediately when a child's heart stops can make the difference between life and death. A University of Missouri-Kansas City study found that when a child goes into cardiac arrest, their odds of survival increase by more than 90% when CPR is initiated within the first 3 minutes. The findings highlight the urgent need for people to learn CPR and feel confident performing it right away. A warning for people who take melatonin for sleep. New research presented at an American Heart Association meeting showed long-term use of the melatonin supplements is associated with a higher risk of heart failure and death. People taking melatonin for at least a year had more than tripled the risk of heart failure, casting doubt on the long-term safety of the popular supplements. November begins a new round of open enrollment for those looking for coverage under the Affordable Care Act. This year's coverage might run into some complications as Congress cut tax credits earlier this year to the ACA, causing many health care premiums to increase. Some notable changes are some health insurance companies are no longer providing coverage to certain counties. Your primary care physician may no longer be in network.
There may still be some that has a zero premium, but you may see an incredibly high deductible. If a person has had Marketplace in the past, we recommend that to not just let it re-enroll.
Some healthcare providers offer services that do not require insurance. One of them is KCU Dental in Joplin. More on that later. More cases and deaths have been linked to a listeria outbreak in prepared pasta meals sold at major retailers. CBS's Gwen Baumgarten has details.
A warning from the nation's top health agencies. Check your refrigerator and freezer for a number of different pasta meals. They may be contaminated with listeria. Products include Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine alfredo, Sprouts Farmers Market's smoked mozzarella pasta salad, and Scott & John's shrimp scampi with linguine bowls. The FDA's website has full details. All have been recalled from stores including Walmart, Safeway, and Kroger's, though most had Best By dates that have already passed.
These are pre-cooked meals. They're just warmed up. And therefore, that warming up is not sufficient to kill all of the listeria.
The problematic pasta comes from California-based Nate's Fine Foods, which recalled more than 200,000 pounds of it in September. Symptoms of listeria usually start 1 to 4 weeks after eating contaminated food, but can start as early as the same day or as late as 10 weeks. They include fever, muscle aches, diarrhea, stiff neck, and even seizures. So far, 6 people have died and 27 people have gotten sick in 18 states since the outbreak began last August. Infectious disease expert Dr. William Schaffner says listeria can be effectively treated if diagnosed early.
But some people have gotten more seriously ill because the bacteria has gotten out of the intestine and into the bloodstream.
Listeria is especially harmful to pregnant women and seniors. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The CDC is still investigating whether additional foods may be contaminated. Every year, more than 1,000 people are infected with listeria and about 170 die. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now, 6:30, a local charity prepares emergency food distribution.
And cool conditions will turn to sunny and warm, but it'll be on the windier side. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, how the Area Agency on Aging is working to feed seniors while the government shutdown blocks federal dollars.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm meteorologist Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. We have a beautiful sunrise. I feel like it's just going to be a good day. We have some good weather. We have a beautiful sunrise. You know, I'm still have some candy from Halloween that, that sugar rush is also helping. So, I'm preparing for a great week, Donald. I don't know about you.
I'm definitely preparing for a great week. It's actually going to be pretty nice out today. Like I said, a little bit on the windier side, but it's going to be warmer and definitely slightly above average for this time of year. November's coming in definitely above average, and I'm really going to look forward to that. So, let's actually take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. Beautiful sunrise, as you can see. It's starting to look like a pretty nice day out there. Just a little bit of clouds, but nothing really to worry about. The winds are going to start picking up later on this afternoon, but I'll talk about that in a minute. 7th range line, beautiful colors. Look at that. Amazing colors out there. The sunrise and sunsets out here are just, I love them so much. I love waking up, seeing the sunrise, and even before going to sleep, I can't get enough of it. So, taking a look at I-44 and Range Line, beautiful sunrise. Like I said, the colors are just amazing. Not too busy out there. People are just starting getting up and getting out the door. But if you're driving, there is a little bit of a fog patch out there by Miami, about 7 miles of visibility, but that's not too bad for that area. And actually, the whole area looks pretty good. So as you're getting out the door to go to work, the kids are getting on the bus to go to school, it's actually going to be a pretty good drive. All right, let's take a look at today. So we're seeing some southerly winds. That's going to be bringing in that warmer air. It is going to be on the windier side, though. Just some few patchy clouds as you progress through the day. As you can see, just some clouds are going to be passing through by about 4 o'clock. Still some southerly winds with some nice warmer air. And then a dry front, a very weak front, is going to push in later this evening into the overnight. That will bring in just slightly cooler temperatures, but really won't affect too much. That's actually why it's been so windy, because of that front that's going to be pushing in. Our current temperature is 55 there in Joplin, Sedan about 51, 50 down in Jay. You're on the colder side, but it's not too bad at this moment. Taking a look at your school day, it's 53 as you're waking up. Winds are going to progress 70 degrees at lunch and recess, 71 as you're coming home, and then starting your day, like I said, mostly sunny. We get up to about 70, 71 with those wind gusts about 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 30. But I'll have a look at your complete forecast coming up.
Thanks, Donald. Carthage Cross Lines Ministry is working to help those who are impacted by the current reduction in SNAP benefits. In addition to having food available for their regular clients, a separate emergency supply is also ready for anyone else who relies on SNAP benefits. The ministry is prepared to assist until the benefits are fully restored. According to the executive director of Children's Haven, the shutdown has increased stress and placed greater needs on some families in the Joplin area, with over 12% of families in Southwest Missouri and Southeast Kansas relying on food assistance. The shutdown threatens to add to the challenges faced by these families during the holiday season. Children's Haven says they need community support now more than ever.
When stress is high in families, that is when unintentional and accidental things can happen. We're here to keep kids safe, to prevent child abuse and neglect, and be a safe resource for kids to spend the night when stress is high in the family. And the current climate is certainly causing more stress for families in our area.
Anyone interested in supporting Children's Haven or seeking resources for families during this challenging time can visit their website or contact their office directly for more information. As the government shutdown continues into November, federal aid programs impacting forestators feel the strain. While a court decision will allow partial SNAP payments this month, many local organizations that depend on federal dollars are still in limbo. KOM's Blake Gully shows us how the shutdown is hitting seniors right here in the 4 states.
Do I buy my medicine or do I buy my food?
That's the decision many seniors are facing as the government shutdown stretches into November. The Area Agency on Aging relies on federal funding to support programs that keep seniors fed and connected.
We had intended to furlough 23 kitchen staff and stop serving hot lunch at our senior centers. We received some beautiful, wonderful, generous donations from some folks to keep that going, and we've been working with the cities of Webb City, Neosho, and Joplin.
Jennifer tells me she's working with officials in Joplin and other cities to provide temporary funding until federal funds start flowing again. And for seniors in the Joplin Senior Center, they just want Washington to understand this shutdown hits home.
They ought to think about us, the people that come over here and need this, because there's so many people that really need this, and the ones that still, like our officials that are still getting their checks and getting all their money and all that, they need to donate it. A lot of people here need help, and we need the government to wake up and do what they got to do.
I feel like the government's let us down because, you know, we pay our taxes, and we paid our tax all our life, and then they just up and shut down on us because they can't agree on stuff.
The agency says funding has only increased about 4% in the last decade, while operating costs have nearly doubled. Once the government reopens, it could take up to 8 weeks before the agency receives the funds it needs. Reporting in Joplin, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
Local organizations like the Area Agency on Aging say they're still relying on donations and community support until full funding returns. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, Kimberly-Clark buys Tylenol maker Kenvue in a $49 billion deal. Plus, breakthrough technology uses AI to battle the global waste crisis, one recyclable at a time. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, scientists are using smart new technology to help save polar bears in Canada, where melting sea ice has wiped out 50% of the population. A silent, all-electric tundra buggy helps researchers get close to the bears to study them and can even broadcast live to the world military-grade radar called BearDar, which can detect polar bears as they get closer to towns, keeping both people and the animals safe. Restaurant chain Denny's says it's been acquired by a group of investment firms in a deal worth around $620 million. The company's CEO says it contacted more than 40 potential buyers and received multiple offers. The deal is expected to be completed in early 2026, and afterwards, Denny's will no longer be publicly listed in the NASDAQ. According to the chain, there are more than 1,500 Denny's restaurants around the country, most of them franchised or licensed. That news came as Kimberly-Clark announced it's buying Tylenol maker Kenvue in a deal worth nearly $49 billion. The merger combines two companies with a massive consumer health portfolio, which includes brands like Huggies, Band-Aid, Kleenex, and Aveeno. The deal comes weeks after the Trump administration made public claims that the use of the active ingredient in Tylenol, acetaminophen, during pregnancy may be associated with increased autism, though medical experts contend the Tylenol usage is safe. The deal is waiting for approval from both companies' shareholders and is expected to close later next year. And Thanksgiving is coming early to Subway. On November 13th, the restaurant chain is releasing its festive feast collection featuring ham, turkey, and chicken sandwiches piled with Subway's all-new cranberry sauce and savory turkey stuffing. Sorting recyclables at home is tough enough, but recycling plants handle thousands of tons daily. New artificial intelligence makes the process more efficient, but as Bradley Blackburn reports, your home habits still matter.
At this recycling plant in Berlin, Connecticut, multi-million-dollar machines move in every direction, sorting everything you can imagine.
It moves fast, very quickly. We process up to 50 to 60 tons an hour.
But blink and you might miss game-changing technology. Intelligent eyes closely watching it all.
That box is a supercomputer. It is, yeah.
The red boxes are from a company called Gray Parrot. Entrepreneur Ambarish Mitra believes artificial intelligence combined with high-speed cameras can help solve a massive global waste problem.
Large-scale AI should be used to actually increase efficiency to a level where almost nothing would be a waste. We want to build a world where we see every object as a resource and it can be recovered and it could be back into society.
The AI boxes can identify recyclables based on shape, labeling, and other criteria and warn if something sneaks through. The plant still needs plenty of human workers too, but AI helps maintain the purity of the sorted product, which ultimately helps recycling make money.
If it should notice that something's not right, it'll send us an alert, and we can go and see what's going on to make a change in the system. Even with technology, it's still an immense and expensive job to sort all this material. And what you do at home matters.
Tips include never putting items like lithium-ion batteries in recycling. They can cause fires here. It also helps to clean and sort your recyclables.
You need to follow the recipe or the instructions that's given by your local recycling coordinator. They'll tell you what should go in and what shouldn't.
Every little bit helps because it clearly adds up. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Berlin, Connecticut.
The Berlin facility was the first in the country to use Gray Parrot technology. That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
It'll be warm and also a little bit windy today. A complete look at your forecast after the break coming up.
Well, it's my favorite time of the day. It is time to celebrate some birthdays and anniversaries. Starting off in Crestline, Kansas, we have Madison and Morgan Dooling celebrating birthday number 16. The note says, "Happy Sweet 16 from Mom, Dad, Emma, and the whole family." Happy birthday, Madison and Morgan.
And in Commerce, Oklahoma, Cindy Stoops turns 65 today. The note says, "Love you with all my heart, Russell." Happy birthday, Cindy.
And in Erie, Kansas, Terry Purdy is celebrating a birthday. It says, "Happy birthday, Meemaw."
And our very own Trevor Lewis, who was a videographer here at KOAM, is having a birthday today. Happy birthday, Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor works here on the morning shows with us, and he is just absolutely the best. He helps make sure everything goes on smoothly. He's been really helping us get us some awesome interviews for the morning show, so we're so grateful to have him here. It would not be what it is today without him, so we're so grateful for him. But we love celebrating birthdays. It is our favorite part of the day, so we want to celebrate with you. I know yesterday we had a really long birthday list. that had like 40-something birthdays. Today we have just 4, but we want to celebrate all of your birthdays and anniversaries, so make sure to send those to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. You can see that email on your screen, but you do want to make sure you pay attention to that deadline to make sure that we get it in time so we can celebrate with you and for you on your special day, whether that's a birthday or anniversary.
And taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh, it's actually a very beautiful morning. As you can see, very beautiful colors with the sunrise. And if you do have a birthday, definitely a good day to have a birthday because it's going to be pretty nice. Even though it's going to be on the windier side, I would probably take the nice sunshine over the wind and the cool down that we're going to have later on this week. But taking a look at 7th and Rangeline as well, beautiful colors for that sunrise. People are starting to get out doing their morning routines. Kids are starting to get out on the bus. Look at that beautiful sunrise out there in Rangeline I-44. Getting a little bit busier, but not too bad at this moment. Actually, taking a look at our fog tracker, we're having a little bit of fog out there in Miami, 7 miles of visibility, but not too bad. That's really the only patchy area we have at this moment. But for the most part, our area looks really good for fog. Pretty much no fog out there for most of our area here. So driving into work, like I said, it's going to be pretty not too bad, and driving conditions are going to be pretty good. So all right, let's take a look at our future track. So today at noon, we're going to see just a few spotty clouds. However, you can notice that those wind bars are definitely going pretty quick. We're getting those southwesterly winds are going to be bringing in those warmer air, and that's why it's going to be windy today because of a front that's going to be pushing through later on this evening and into the overnight. So at 4 o'clock, see a few patchy clouds. Winds are still going to be there, gusting up to, like I said, about 30 miles an hour. And there's that front that pushes through Wednesday morning. It is going to calm down as you're waking up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Winds are going to be still coming out of the south. It's going to be still on the warmer side, but by the afternoon, those winds are going to shift from the south to the north. And that maybe a little bit of a cool down, but not too much. It's still going to be pretty nice and clear. But by Wednesday afternoon, those winds are going to start shifting out of the east, and then we're going to have some few spotty clouds there, but still no rain at all. Still going to be very clear and dry. And then Thursday afternoon, same thing. Winds are going to be coming out of the south now. Still some patchy clouds there, but still an overall nice couple of days. But if you're starting your day today, 8 a.m., we're going to start off at 55 degrees. It is going to be pretty sunny throughout the day, but also, like I said, a little bit windy as well. 11 a.m. we're going to get up to about 68, but mostly sunny. So a pretty nice start to your day. But our high is going to be about 72 degrees. South winds about 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusts up to 30. At noon, 70 degrees. We'll get to about 72 about that 2 to 3 o'clock hour. Mostly sunny. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 71 degrees. And then those clouds are going to start increasing just a tad bit as we get closer to the evening. So 6 p.m., 63 degrees. Clouds are going to start increasing, 62 at 8 p.m. and 60 at 10 p.m. And then also 50 degrees for overnight low. Like I said, still a little bit windy, southwest winds at 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusts about 25. So the winds are still going to be continuing through the afternoon into the overnight as well. Taking a look at our 10-day here. Look at this. Very beautiful week that we have all through the week until we get to about Sunday. But today, 72. We could see possibly 76 degrees on Thursday. That's amazing. It's going to feel really good, but we are going to start cooling down by that Sunday. You can see with 51, and actually that morning we're going to see 26 degrees for a low. So that possibly means we could see a frost or a freeze as well. So it's going to be feeling just like fall, getting into those fall-like temperatures. That actually feels closer to like those winters. So just be careful as you're waking up that morning because you might need to scrape something off your car. And then we're going to start seeing those temperatures start to increase throughout the day. But coming up when the KOAM morning news switches over to Fox 14, best-selling news novel Regretting You is in theaters now. We spoke to the cast.
This is your Wake Up Recap for November 4th, your top stories to start your day. A call came in about 4:10 yesterday morning reporting a man suffering a gunshot to the abdomen on Broadwell Avenue in Joplin. Authorities took the 24-year-old man to an area hospital. Joplin police say they have no suspect or suspect information at this time. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for more information as it becomes available. A 32-year-old suspect appeared in court accused of carrying out a stabbing spree over the weekend on a train bound for London. Passengers ran to escape. In panic, some thought it was a Halloween prank when the stabbing started, but quickly realized it was all too real. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And you're waking up to a pretty nice morning. It's going to be 55 degrees at 8 a.m., mostly sunny, but the winds are going to start picking up by the early afternoon, getting up to 68 degrees at 11 a.m., mostly sunny skies, 72 degrees for the high. Winds are going to be gusting up to 30 miles an hour, though, but we're going to be reaching that 72 about 2 to 3. So, and then also into the evening at 50 degrees for an overnight low. Winds are still going to be there, but it's going to be a pretty nice day and a pretty nice evening. And also the rest of the week looks pretty good until we get to the weekend when things start to cool down just a little bit, getting back to those fall-like temperatures and then warming up later on next week.
Perfect. Sounds so great, Donald. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making an old-fashioned pot roast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on the Co-AM with CBS Mornings. It's a miraculous story of survival ahead on CBS Mornings. Hear from a man who was lost for 3 weeks after disappearing in California, Sierra Nevada.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we have Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission in the studio, showing us one of her amazing recipes.
Plus, the details on how the ongoing government shutdown is impacting local organizations and community members.
But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. and we'll see you today at noon.